Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Dani, and today it's time for the March M&M'S TBR. Before we go into this TBR, let's see how I did in February. In February, the M&M's picked these 5 books for me to read, and I'm not doing well in this TBR, honestly. I did read A Clock of Stars. This one was for a book that I didn't know anything about, which is not an advent calendar prompt. If you don't know what the advent calendar prompts are, they're a series of videos that I did in December, and I asked a few booktubers to send me book recommendations and book prompts. And so the prompts that are here with a red and green thing around it are the prompts for the M&M's TBR, for the advent calendar. And this one was not for the advent calendar, the book that I don't know nothing about, but I can fit it in the animal in cover prompt. So we're going to take this one out of the board because the advent calendar prompts are just going to stay in the board when they have not been completed yet. So this is completed, this is coming out of the board. This is the cover of the book. There's definitely a bird here, so animal in cover, it counts. The second book was Game Changer by Neil Shusterman. This one was for mood read, and I don't think it fits in any of the advent calendar prompts. So we're not removing any other prompt from the board. And then we have A History of What Comes Next by Sylvain Nouvel, which was for of or the in the title. And again, I don't think it fits in any of the advent calendar prompts, so we're not removing anything else. The next one is A Thousand Splendid Suns, which was for husband pick, and I did not read it yet. And the last one here on the top is Witches Steeped in Gold, which was for a fantasy, and I'm still reading it. So with the way that my month is going, I really do not think that I'm going to finish both of these books by the end of the month, because I'm just doing other stuff and I'm not focusing on reading so much. So I am going to add a challenge prompt this month in the board. It's going to be the first challenge prompt. We'll see if the prompts are nice to me. I don't have a lot of challenge prompts, so if you have recommendations, please let me know in the comments because I do need to add more. A challenge prompt would be a book with the lowest rating, or a big book, or a book in French, or a second chance book. Those are all prompts that I already have. So if you have any other challenge recommendation, it's not supposed to be a book that I'm going to be sad about. Like, I don't want it to be a punishment, I just want it to be a challenge. So if you have any recommendations, just please let me know. I did read one other book this month, which was The Red Queen, just Red Queen I think, by Victoria Aveyard, which was not in the M&M's prompt, but I do think this fits for mixed reviews, because if you go on Goodreads, there are a lot of like very low or very high reviews of this book. Usually people who read it at the time it was released, I think, loved it, but now I understand why the tropes here might have become a little bit cliche, so people don't enjoy it so much anymore. So I do think it fits for mixed reviews, so I am going to remove that prompt as well from the board. And with that, I think I'm doing really well with the advent calendar prompts. There are only 6 left, so I already read 6 of the books from the prompts. So my goal this month is to try to add at least 1, but hopefully more of the M&M's of the advent calendar books. Because like I said, I asked the booktubers to send me books and prompts, and I still have 12 books to read this year for the advent calendar. So I am going to try to fit some of these books there. And I also have an arc that I'm definitely going to read. It's probably going to be the first thing that I read in March, so I will try to fit it in the M&M's. If not, I'll tell you in the end what the book is. And one last thing before we start, I did say that I wanted to shout out a few TBR games and my M&M's TBRs, and here's some that I really love and that you should totally check out. First of all is one that is very popular with reason, because it's so much fun, and it is Bookmarks TBR Avatar. She has a board that she goes around in it and like fulfill prompts, and when she gets to the end of the board, which she just did last month, she gets to buy a lot of books. So I definitely recommend you check that out. Another one that I love is Natalie's from One Sleep Reader's Skittles TBR. So she basically took my M&M's TBR as inspiration, but she does it with Skittles. And she has there's a little bit different, because she, like, if she gets 2 of the same color, she has to pick a book that has that color in the cover, which I think is really fun, and you should totally check her channel and her TBR. The next one that I want to shout out is Sasha's Wild TBR. Her channel is The Wild Sasha, and she also has a board. She has it digitally, so you can also download it and play and like just use her prompts, which is so much fun. She has different backgrounds for each of them. It looks really good and it's just a lot of fun. And you really don't need anything to play it. You can just download everything because it's all digital, which I think it's amazing. And last but not least is one that I hadn't watched before my last M&M's video, and multiple people recommended to me in the comments, and it is Books with Maddie Deck of Cards TBR. It is just genius. She made it such a complex thing, but it's still like it's easy to follow and easy to understand, and like it also has like a cross of lines and columns that gives her a prompt, but there are themes, and she uses a deck of cards, so if she picks a figure card, then there's something special that happens. It's so much fun. All of these people are linked in the description of this video. Definitely do check them out, because like I said, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I just love TBR games in general. I love playing a TBR game and I love watching, so definitely recommend all of these. If you have any more to recommend, or if you have one yourself, please let me know in the comments. I am making a big list, so I'll try to go through all of them in like with time, but definitely let me know what your favorite is. You can recommend someone else's, it doesn't have to be yours. And with that, I think we can start. So before we get the M&Ms, let's replace this prompts. This one was the one that I picked, the last one that I picked last month. So I'm going to put normal prompts in this too that I removed from the Advent calendar prompts, and for this one I'm going to put a challenge prompt. I'm going to put the prompts from last month back here and mix them a little bit. Okay, should be good. I always pick one from the middle anyway, so there's no way of knowing. So the first prompt that I'm going to pick is going to be for the first one here, and that is... Oh, I have two. I'm gonna pick the one in the front because I already read it, and that is Goodreads recommendation, which means that I scroll through Goodreads and pick the first book that is on my TBR. Now the next prompt that I'm going to pick is going to be for here, for blue yellow, and it is... Let me make sure I only have one this time. Yes, I have two. Okay, I'm gonna mix it up again. Why is this so hard? Okay, only one, for sure only one. One word title, so this one is self-explanatory. And for the challenge prompt, I have a special bag that I got in the past months, and I thought it would be fitting because it's red, like it's bright red, and it has bad things in here. Not really, but you get it. So, like I said, not a lot of prompts to pick from, but let's go with this one, making sure I have only one. Big book. So this would be like over 500 pages. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I wrote the challenge prompts in purple, so it stands out in the board. Hopefully it is standing out on the board, I can't really tell by the viewfinder, but it's fine. I also just noticed that you can totally see this whole empty shelf above me. I don't know why, I feel like every time I film the M&M'S TBR, it's on a different setup, and was it always here? I don't even know. But yeah, I have a full empty shelf to fill with books, but this is my read shelf, so this has to be with books that I've read, and you don't care. Let's go to the M&Ms. I feel like there are a lot of oranges and blues this time. Can you see it? I don't want it to fall, but will the camera focus? Probably not. But let's hope the M&Ms are nice to me. Because February was not a great reading month. I had a lot of not great ratings. So I'm hoping for some 5-star predictions here. The first M&M for the first book is green. The second M&M for the first book is blue. And I got new author, which means that I have to pick a book by an author that I have not read from before. And this is perfect to fit an advent calendar book in here. So let me see which one I'm in the mood to read. For new author, I'm going to read A Natural History of Dragons, or a memoir by Lady Trent, by Mary Brennan. This was recommended to me by Sasha from the channel Wild Sasha, which is already linked in the description because I already recommended her TBR. So this one is about Lady Trent, who is a dragon naturalist, and she's literally just telling her story of how she got to being the well-known naturalist that she is right now. So it says here at last in her own words is a true story of a pioneer spirit who risked her reputation, her prospect, and her fragile flesh and bone to satisfy her scientific curiosity. So I'm really curious to read it. I think it's going to be really interesting because it's about studying dragons, so I'm very curious and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to get to it. Let's replace the prompt. Random page number. So this one, if this one comes up, I'm going to pick a page number and a range of pages, and I'm going to randomize a number, and I have to pick a book that's close to that page number. So the first M&M for the second book is blue again. And we're back on the blues. The second M&M for the second book is blue again. And we got hand on cover, which means that it is an advent calendar prompt, so I can't pick a book from the advent calendar. It has to be another book. And I think the arc that I want to read fits in this very well. I was thinking about putting Gathering of Shadows here, but I think the arc fits so well and I have to read it in March, so I'm going to go with it, probably. And that is Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. This is literally has a hand holding a sword, not in the right way that a sword should be held, but I'm really excited to get to it. This one comes out in May of 2021, and I really want to read it in March, and I'm going to start with this one in March, probably. I also got a map with it, and I'm just so excited. Apparently this one has a big cast of characters. It says here, a squire, the survivor of a failed quest, an immortal, timeless, and unfathomable, an assassin, skilled and heartless, and a pirate's daughter, the world's last hope. The age of heroes is gone, but the fight to save the world has only just begun. I hadn't read anything by Victoria Aveyard before, but I read Red Queen now in February because I'm excited for this book and I wanted to prepare myself for her writing and see how, if it changed from Red Queen. This doesn't have to do with the Red Queen series at all. It's a completely new series and it's going in my TBR. And let's replace the prompt. Let's pick this one. Only one? Only one. Book! So if this one comes up, this one has the advent calendar colors around it. So if this one comes up, I simply have to pick a book from the advent calendar. I think there are 3 of this prompts. Yeah, there's one here, and one here. So for any of those, I just have to pick a book from the advent calendar. The first M&M for the third book is blue again. The M&Ms scared us for a few months there, but we're back on the blues. It's all good in the world. Second M&M for the third book is red. I feel like I showed the M&M really fast, but I promise you that it was red. New release. So for this one, I have to pick one of the newest releases in my shelf, and I do have one that completely fits here. It was released in February, and I had pre-ordered it, and I'm going to put it on my TBR. And that is Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 12. If you don't know, Fullmetal Alchemist is one of my new favorite series. I am reading them as they are released in this edition, and it is about 2 brothers, Alphonse and Edward Eric, and they're alchemists, and they do alchemy things, and it's one of my favorite series. The characters are phenomenal, the story is so much fun, and it's funny, it's sad, it's everything, and I'm really excited to get to the 12th volume in the series. Let's replace the prompt. No, I have 2. Just one. There. M&M color. If this one comes up, I pick one M&M from the bag and I have to match the color, the cover of the book with the color of the M&M that I picked. The first M&M for the 4th book is blue again. We're really getting all the blues that we didn't get in the past few months. The second M&M for the 4th book is brown. it is high rating. So for this one, I'm gonna go on my own shelf on Goodreads and order it by rating. And I know what are the top ratings, but I'm going to pick one of the 10 first most highest rated books you get. Okay, so ordered by average rating. The first one on the list is Words of Radiance. Then we have Rhythm of War. Then we have The Way of Kings. Then we have Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 12, which is literally the one that I just put on my TBR. So we're going well with the TBR. Then guess what? Oathbringer. Then Season of Mists, The Name of the Wind, Skyward. Let's see where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the 8th is, the 9th is Morning Star by Pierce Morrow, and the 10th is Sherlock Holmes. The complete works of Sherlock Holmes of Arthur Conan Doyle that I have a big box here. So I think there's no way around it. I'm going to have to read the second volume of The Way of Kings. Okay, so I read the first volume in January and I have the second one here. And this was actually already on my nightstand because I'm dying to get back to the story. But I was honestly fine not having it on my TBR because I wasn't pressured to read it. Not that I feel pressured, just like I didn't have an end date in mind for when I had to finish it. I could just savor it and read it slowly, but I'm still gonna do that. But it is going on my TBR now. Since I added one manga, I think it's going to be fine to add this big one there, and I'm really excited for it. And it is the only one that I can fit. Well, no, there are a few others that I could fit with the highest rating, but it's the one that I'm most excited to read, so that's going. Let's replace the prompt for the last time. Fantasy. This was a prompt that I picked last month already, and it's a very vague prompt, which we love. The first M&M for the 5th and last book is orange. The second M&M for the 5th and last book is green. And we have Asian authors. So I'm going to pick a book written by an Asian author. The book that I'm going to pick for this prompt is one that I was on my February TBR, but I don't think I'm going to have time to finish it, and I still really want to read it. So that is 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. This author is from Afghanistan, which is in Asia, South Asia, so we're good. And like I said before, last month, this is about 2 generations of characters who were going through their story during the war in Afghanistan, and I'm really curious to read it, and I'm very happy that I could put this back on my TBR. So that's it for my March TBR. These are the books that I'm going to be attempting to read and hopefully succeeding in March. And I'm very excited for it. I could only fit one of the M&Ms, of the Advent Calendar books, in here, but it's okay. I'm going to replace this prompt next month, so be sure to subscribe to see how my next month's M&Ms TBR is going to go. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for joining me.